so today is my favourites for January. In my goals video for 2021, I talked about the fact that I really enjoy watching different people's favourites videos. Sometimes people do that once a month or maybe once a quarter or a couple of times a year, whatever it might be. Often usually these people are booktubers, talk about other things apart from books, and I thought that would be a fun thing to do. I am, as you know, a booktuber, but I do other things aside from reading books, so I wanted some of my content to actually reflect that. I don't really have a set thing that I'm going to be talking about each month because it will depend on what my favourites were in that month. For January, I'm going to be talking about 3 new booktubers that I have found in the month of January. So these people aren't necessarily new to booktube in general, but they were people or booktubers that I found during January whose content I've been really enjoying. I will also talk about my favourite books for January, since it is, after all, a booktube channel. I will talk about some of my favourite TV shows and some of my favourite movies in the month of January. I didn't go shopping or anything like that. I mean, in particular, I didn't go and buy a bunch of clothes or anything, so I don't have any new favourite outfits or anything like that, but who knows, maybe in February I will. Anyway, so basically this is my January favourites video. So, those 3 booktubers that I found that I've been really enjoying their content are the channel Gunpowder, Fiction and Plot. This is 2 people who run the channel. It is a husband and wife team, Nelle and Scott. They are from Australia, which it's always nice to hear a familiar accent when we're watching videos. Yeah, I've been really enjoying their content. They seem to do a lot of tags. They do some great wrap-ups. They have a lot of really interesting opinions about the books that they're reading, about the book world in general, and yeah, I just think that they have a really interesting amount of stuff to say, and I've been really enjoying their content. Their channel will be in the description below. Anyone who I talk about who has a YouTube channel will be in the description below, so you should go and check out all of the people that I'm about to talk about. So that was Gunpowder, I apologise, that was Gunpowder, Fiction and Plot. The next YouTube channel that I want to talk about is Literary Lilly. I came across Literary Lilly's channel because she is running the Woodies Roundup Readathon that is going for the month of February, which I am sort of low-key taking part in. And again, I've just been really enjoying her content. I think that she is very enthusiastic about what she reads and the way that she tells you what she reads. She's also very thoughtful in what she has to say. I just really appreciate the way she expresses herself. So that is Literary Lilly. And the final person whose channel I have discovered recently is Coffee Over Apples. So that is Steph, who runs Coffee Over Apples. I really like, again, Steph's enthusiasm. I really like her original content. She does quite a lot of different stuff, which is really great fun, but she also does the kind of standard booktube content that we all do, wrap-ups, TBRs, all of that sort of thing. And I also really appreciate that she does some kind of slightly oddball things, like hiking to the top of a mountain to talk about 4 books and just stuff like that that's a little bit unusual, which I really appreciate and think is really fun. So those are the 3 booktube channels that I discovered in the month of January that I've been really enjoying. Another YouTube channel that I've been watching quite a bit of recently is actually a channel that my partner introduced me to, and that is Screen Rant. And in particular, we have been watching the videos where I don't know exactly how Screen Rant works. I think it's something that's run by a bunch of different people. Anyway, one of the people that runs it and does videos on it, he kind of had like a pitch meeting for various videos, various movies I should say, and he pretends to be both the producer and the writer or creator, and they talk about some of the flaws of the movie and some of the different things that can happen in the movie and sort of make fun of it in a very fun, silly kind of way. So I've been really enjoying that as well. During January, I did start rewatching, and in fact then rewatched the entirety of How I Met Your Mother. So I'm sure most people know what How I Met Your Mother is, and I probably don't need to explain, but essentially it is a American drama, comedy, sitcom type of TV show, and it follows 5 best friends from their 20s up to their kind of 40s, and the framing of it is when the main character Ted is telling his kids about how he met their mother. I really enjoy the show. I think it was my second time watching it. I've kind of watched bits and pieces of it a third time as well, but this was my second time watching the whole thing through. Definitely my favourite thing about How I Met Your Mother is, my favourite 2 things about How I Met Your Mother is the fact that it stars Alison Hannigan and Jason Segel. They play the roles of Lily and Marshall, and I just really love their relationship and their characters. Alison Hannigan has always been a favourite of mine. She played Willow Rosenberg in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Buffy is one of my favourite TV shows, so I just love watching Alison Hannigan, and she did a really great job in this TV show. And of course, it also stars Neil Patrick Harris, who is just amazing, and I just love him. He plays the incredibly unlikable Barney Stinson, and yet all the stuff that you would normally hate about the character of Barney is something that, if not lovable, is amusing, and it's just, Neil Patrick Harris just does an amazing job, and I just think he's fantastic. So it's a great fun show, highly recommend. The next thing that we watched, we actually started watching in December, and I did put this as one of my favourite TV shows of last year, but we didn't finish watching it until January, so it still gets to be a favourite in January, and that was Star Trek Discovery. I just thought this was so well done and so fun and brilliantly acted and really well crafted. I'm not a Trekkie. I have never particularly gotten into the Star Trek universe. I mean, I'm not hating of it, but it's not been a thing that I've totally loved. But I really enjoyed Discovery, and I think that unlike definitely the original, and even Next Generation, which were kind of meant to be satirical, I think Star Trek Discovery is actually trying to be a lot more of a serious drama, and I think it pulls it off really well. So I really enjoyed watching that show as well. I only have one movie that I want to talk to you about for January, and that is Summerland. Now, this is a movie about a young boy who's about 12-ish, I think, and it's set during the Second World War, and he's sent from London to Dover. Sorry, had a moment there. Sent to Dover to get away from the Blitz in London, and he's ends up being billeted with this woman who really doesn't want him there. She lives alone, she's very cantankerous, she's very much a loner, and she just really doesn't want to have to deal with him. But they form a very unlikely friendship throughout the movie. It's about their relationship, it's a growing up story, it's a coming of age story, and then you also get some of her backstory. I thought that it was incredibly well done. It was a really, really enjoyable movie. Among the many amazing British television and screen stars that are in this movie, it stars Gemma Arterton and Penelope Wilton, who play the younger and older versions of the main character. They both do an absolutely incredible job. I just think both of those actors are amazing, so I really, really, really enjoyed this movie. Definitely highly recommend if you have not yet seen it. And finally, guys, my favourite books for the month of January. This will come as absolutely no surprise to most of you that my 2 favourite books in January were Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas and Hollowpox by Jessica Townsend. I love fantasy, and I thought these 2 books were fantastic examples of really, really great fantasy. Very different fantasy. In Hollowpox, we follow a young girl. She's 11 years old. Or actually, I think she's more like 13 in Hollowpox. It's the 3rd book in the Nevermore series. We follow Morrigan Crow. It's in a totally different world. It's very whimsical and very much about adventure, and it kind of is, in a way, quite similar to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland in that sense of it being very whimsical and very fun and very funny. Whereas Crescent City is actually quite dark in a lot of places. It is in no way a grim dark fantasy. It is an urban fantasy, but there's quite a few dark elements to the book. There are definitely elements of high fantasy. There are elements of post-apocalyptic kind of sci-fi, dystopian sort of story. I just really thought that it was done incredibly well. I really, really enjoyed Crescent City. It was definitely my favourite book of January. Possibly one of my favourites of the year. It's a bit early to tell. I've had a fantastic reading month in January though, guys, so it's been hard to pick, but yeah, not a surprise that Crescent City just managed to sneak in there. But like I said, I really had a great reading month and I had a really great time with all the books, so they may possibly, other ones will feature in favourites throughout the year. It just depends on how my favourites go. So that's it for the favourites for January. If there's a type of thing that you would be interested in learning more about, whether it be, like I said, outfits or something like that that I have purchased, or jewellery. I don't do makeup, so I mean I don't wear it at all, so I can't be talking to you about that. But anything else, like yeah, what kind of jewellery I get, all of that sort of thing, I would love to talk to you about that sort of stuff if you're interested. So please comment below and let me know if there's anything that you are interested in learning more about in these sorts of videos, and I'll definitely see what I can include throughout the next 12 months and beyond. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.